10 years ago, IIHS created Urban ARC with a simple conviction. Conversations about cities and urbanization in the Global South needed to emerge from and be rooted in the Global South. Over a decade, we have fulfilled that promise. Urban ARC has established itself as a grounded space for the critical examination of urbanization and the urban. It has brought together researchers, practitioners, educators, and communities from more than 35 countries from all 6 continents. Over 600 participants from 225 institutions from across India and the world have joined us in Bengaluru each January.
Over the last decade, Urban ARC has emerged as a space that welcomes young researchers, established academics, as well as reflective practitioners to engage in conversations that stem from their own work, but also engage across each other's work in collegial, thoughtful spaces.
We have also showcased new methodologies, encouraged impact-oriented engagement between research and practice, and provided a space for young scholars and new work to emerge. In doing so, the conference has mirrored IIHS's own belief that urban issues are not bounded by disciplinary, methodological, spatial, or investigative categories, but rely on a comprehensive approach that continues to test and blur these boundaries.
The themes that we chose and continue to choose for Urban ARC over the years draw both on critical contemporary literature and research, but also drawing on real-world challenges that cities face, both now and have for a while past. This has allowed conversations at Urban ARC to remain relevant. The conversations have spanned emerging technology and the urban, transitioning regions, and now this year we look at contested spaces across multiple themes, geographies, and methods.
It is one of the very few places where a majority of the presenters are young scholars in the making, often presenting at their first conference. This has been my intention, and I think it gives the conference a really remarkable kind of pulse on what is coming at the time when it is still emergent. And I think conferences very rarely allow space for what is uncertain and coming. One has to be so sure, so fixed, so almost reflective that we wait too long for the academy to be certain. The world has gone ahead and knowledge is catching up. So I think Urban ARC has been really fundamental in opening space for thought that is still in formation, which means that many times I find myself reading papers and realizing I heard the first articulation of the first shoot of this as an Urban ARC talk. And I think that is a very powerful role for an academic conference to play.
The Urban ARC conference for the last 10 years has really been able to create that space where people feel heard, validated, comforted, and also really challenged and can learn what rigor means in the interdisciplinary environment. And the more personal thing that I really enjoy is being able to see old collaborators come back as really senior academics who were with us when they were capturing their empirical data, but now come back with really strong theoretical arguments. And the other is, of course, seeing young scholars like our urban fellows come back in their professional capacities to present their research and present their practice work.
So this was, I think, an ad I saw on LinkedIn or a call for the papers for this conference, and the theme urban transitions really resonated with my chapter from my PhD, and I thought the theme was so broad and so interesting in that it encompasses so many different interests. So I reckoned that while I may come in with a sort of very different dimension, it still felt very relevant. So I think it really was an excellent call for papers for the conference that prompted me to apply.
There's so much value in regionally specific, locally specific conferences that are getting deep into the issues that are of relevance in those contexts, rather than trying to think of sort of universalized understandings of what's happening in cities, getting into the specifics of what happens in different localities and places, and thinking beyond that as to what that means for how we think about urban studies, I think is really important contribution to how we begin to shift some of the power dynamics within urban studies. So yes, I think this is an important space for airing Southern scholarship on its own terms, and then speaking back to the world.
And the call also, which struck me, hasn't been present in all the panels, but to be bold and to be assured that actually engaging properly with Indian literature and Indian experiences is a fantastic starting point. Not to say that conversation should be internal, then it's useful that they engage with a broader international language and experiences, but that this is a tool for strengthening a localized understanding.
The IIHS Research Office has been organizing Urban ARC for the last 10 years. In terms of process, the call for applications goes out 3 to 4 months in advance of the conference, with a 1-month window for applications. We have a rigorous review process where applications are graded on their creativity, methodology, robustness of research, and alignment with the theme. Selected presentations are then thematically aligned into panels for the conference. All papers and panels are published in conference proceedings at the end of the conference. A key feature of Urban ARC has been special plenaries and keynotes. Each year, our aim has to be to invite leading urban scholars to engage in debates and conversations that speak to the theme of the conference. The conference is also free and accessible to everyone with an interest in the urban.
Anchoring communications and design for IIHS's Research Week and the 10 years of our annual research conference Urban ARC in 2026 is an opportunity to celebrate both vision and imagination and the consistent hard work that teams collaboratively bring to the table to have reached this milestone. A coherent visual identity, consistent tone and language, audience benefit-centered messaging, the strategic use of digital methods have collectively established IIHS Research Week as a global brand, recognized for its rigor and relevance. This also reiterates IIHS's thought leadership on important and critical conversations, on having them and creating space for them.
Urban ARC also offers an insight into the shifting research landscape, not just in India, but also across the globe. Papers and panels in the first couple of years focused primarily on issues of governance, planning, housing, and infrastructure. More recently, this has shifted to conversations on climate and ecology, sustainability, and urban transitions, mirroring current debates and funding priorities. Started as a fully in-person conference, it moved online completely for 2 years during the COVID pandemic. This also presented an opportunity to include more global voices in the conversations. Since 2023, the conference has been running in hybrid mode, encouraging both in-person as well as remote participation.
We bring together people who care deeply about cities and how to craft change at scale. We create space for the conversations that matter. If it's the second week of January, it's time for Urban ARC at IIHS. 10 years, 10 themes, 1 conversation.